morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Sam.
I'm Ren.
And that's that. Welcome back to another episode of Spooky News.
Spooky.
Today, we're going to talk about all the spooky news that happened for December 2024.
December.
As of recording right now, it is the 5th of January.
Yeah.
We're officially in 2025, so Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
It's snowing
Oh, yeah, it is.
a lot today for us.
A lot.
The biggest snow we've seen in a long while.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance we won't go to work tomorrow. So that's good news.
Woo.
Woo woo. Okay, so hopefully everyone had a good Christmas and New Year. Hopefully it wasn't too spooky. Actually, no, make it spooky and then tell us the
Yeah, get us some spooky stories in the comments.
So we've got a few things to go through today. As I was looking through the spooky news, there was a lot of spooky stories of 2024. You know, like compilation
like a
ones.
wrap up, yeah.
I haven't actually done any of them because they're not really news. And also, because we've only done 3 episodes, we haven't done the whole year, so it's not like we're looking back on stories we told. You know what I mean? It's just kind of stories that had happened. I could have done them, but I decided against that. But then I imagine next year, you know, what are you? That little noise?
Is that your wire?
I think so, yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know if you could hear that little clicking then. Ren thought it was a ghost.
I did actually
Scared
think...
already.
Because before we started, I said we should take a moment of silence for the ghosts, and then I held the mic out and we just sat in silence while Sam was yapping a bit. They may be waiting for their moment. Let's not take a moment of silence, so it's a podcast. Come on now.
So probably this time next year when we do December 2025 podcast, we'll likely do the recaps because we'll have actually said those stories.
I've had enough to actually, yeah.
But as of now, we've got some other stories to go through. There wasn't nothing. There was some spooky stuff happening
In the festive season.
in December 2024.
Wow.
All around Crimbo. So.
Oh, well, I mean, you know, Christmas Carol. There's ghosts.
That's pretty spooky.
That is pretty spooky.
So let's get into it. Speaking of ghosts, we're starting with the big 3, and the first one of the big 3 is ghosts. So, here's our first story. The source for this story is The Mirror.
Oh.
.co.uk. Here's a little headline for you. Family terrified by paranormal activity and beg council for new home after objects fly around.
Ayo.
It's not the first time we've heard poltergeist stories in the UK, in council houses. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Ghostwatch. I know it's not a true story, but that was in a council house.
Yeah.
And the true story that the Conjuring 2 was based on.
Yeah.
I think that was a council house that's in the UK. This is a pretty
Don't
regular
surprise me
occurrence.
with council houses. There's been so many people living in them.
Yeah.
At various points of their lives as well.
So let's dive into this one. Okay. Here's the story. Thomas and Louise Stokes told the High Court in Ireland. Well, this is in Ireland. It's not in England, but it's,
All right.
you know.
You know.
Told the High Court in Ireland their family could not stay at their first house, given to them owing to concerns for their health because of a mould problem.
All right.
However, Miss Stokes told Mr. Justice Garrett Simmons a new property they were moved to has caused her to be fearful for her children due to, quote, paranormal activity. The mum told Proceedings how since they moved in, quote, numerous objects in the house have been, quote, flown from side to side, while doors and table and chairs, quote, were moving in front of our eyes. She claimed, while making food for her children, objects flew out of the cupboard she opened. Miss Stokes said she contacted the previous occupant of the house, who wrote them a letter, the applicant described as beyond traumatic. She claimed she brought the letter to the attention of the council, but was, quote, laughed at in a meeting. She said, quote, everyone deserves a home. I never asked for a mansion. I asked for a safe home for my kids. The High Court heard how the mould in her first property was so bad the entire family had to sleep downstairs instead of their bedrooms. They also had to make several hospital visits. The couple claimed in the 5 years they lived in the property, the problem with mould became so bad that they were forced to leave and live temporarily with relatives before returning to the house. He told Miss Stokes he understood her concern about the second house experiencing paranormal activity and her fears for the safety of her children, but a third house would mean a new application to the local authority. So, obviously, when there's a council house thing and people are in a council house and trying to move to a different council house, there's a thing that some people will say and maybe true, and I think it's always going to be in the back of the mind. It's like, are they just trying to have an excuse to move to a better place, like a bigger house?
Right.
But at the same time, I think that's probably a minority of cases where people might be doing that. I think, and it's probably fairly obvious most of the time if that's what's going on. And I think probably, like, I mean, because if you're going to come up with an excuse, paranormal activity is not really the obvious one, is it?
No.
And obviously they're going to want to come and investigate, and if they can't prove it, which they're probably not going to be able to, then, you know, it's a waste of time.
You got like at least with the mold thing, it's like it's literally there. You can see.
Yeah, they can see it and they can go and say, okay, yeah, that is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't say here because obviously it ends where he's told them they have to apply to through the authorities. So it's obviously at this point that this story is written, they haven't applied.
Right.
What would be interesting is if they do apply and they go and investigate to see whether or not they do need a new house, and
there is some paranormal that happens.
You know, poltergeist activity. I mean, again, that wouldn't be the first time.
No.
That had happened.
Yeah.
You know, like it was. I mean, like I said, that the Enfield haunting.
Yeah.
That The Conjuring 2 was based on.
That's what's it.
That was quite well documented, and it was in the news. Like it wasn't. I know at this point we kind of don't really think about it, but that was a big story, really. I think back in the day, in the 70s, I believe. So, did they get another house? I don't know. But was it a council? I'm not actually 100% sure it was a council house.
Maybe.
But yeah, so could be true.
Very much could be. And like I say, like with council houses, they have a lot of people.
Yeah.
All sorts of people, you know, old, young, whatever, anyone that needs a house, really. Because I grew up on a council estate. So, yeah, it's like, I very much believe that could happen, something paranormal could happen, because, like, if it is, like, ghost people that have died and that, like, yeah, I bet it's riddled. But it's riddled with spirits.
Could be. I mean, did you hear of anything on a council estate? Other people that may have had issues?
No, my dad tends to. I've got to take things my dad says with a pinch of salt.
Right.
I think I've mentioned it before, where he'll see, like, he says that, like, because he still lives on that same estate, where he'll see, like, he does the shopping for people in the street, like the elderly in the street, and there's one where I think her husband's died, and he said that he saw him, the husband, stood in the window, like while he was at the gate, just about to come in to get a shopping list, basically, because he goes and does the shopping. And saw him at the window. Like, I think that was like not long after he'd passed. And he's very much a believer in stuff like that, but like that's him seeing that, not her. I don't think she's experienced anything. A friend of mine from school, when I've not experienced this, but like she lived on like a council estate as well, and there was this one woman that would like a ghost, like wearing all white, that would appear and has like gone from room to room.
Right.
I'm imagining like a Scooby-Doo style. I've heard that. I've not had anything personally really myself. There's been some weird things, but in my like neighborhood, my friends and that didn't really have any mention of anything. But
were you able to find out any of the history of the house to know whether if anything had happened, what it could be?
No,
you have no idea.
How would I go about
that? I don't know. Maybe if they don't give you a little, because like when you buy a house, they have to disclose. Yeah. If there's something has happened there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's the same if you're getting like a council house, if they still have to tell you, or if they don't have to tell you.
Probably not. Too much to tell then.
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully this family, if assuming they're having a genuine issue and something's genuinely happened and they do fear for their lives, hopefully they can get a different house.
Yeah. I think it'd be really unsettling if that was happening. It'd be
Here's,
so unsettling.
here's what I think: if the property's haunted, right, and there's poltergeist activity, chances are previous occupants have also made the same complaints. And
Yeah.
if that's true, when they apply, then they'll be like, "Oh, this
Well-
isn't the first time we've heard this from this place." So then the automatic assumption is they're probably not lying.
Well,
Right.
yeah, I doubt a lot of people would really say it.
Right, a lot of people probably wouldn't say anything.
I don't know that I would,
But if
you know. I'd try and rationalize it and like explain it away, because I'm like, if I'm experiencing like, you know, if like stuff's getting thrown out of cupboards and that. Also, I would like to clarify, I want that woman to clarify if it was the Tupperware cupboard or not, because
Yeah.
stuff does fall out of that cupboard
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
just throw it in and close the door. But yeah, like, you know, I wouldn't be like, nah, something weird's really happening. Like, I would tell you, but I'd also be like not wanting to believe it.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, but if you were fearing for your life, you know what I mean?
what exactly made her fear for her life? Was anyone injured?
It doesn't say.
Stuff were just getting
But
flung
if
about.
things are flying about,
Dodge.
it could easily,
I'm kidding.
you could easily get hit and it could be dangerous.
Well, yeah.
So if it's like you say, you wouldn't want to say, you'd want to kind of avoid,
Yeah.
you know, saying these things because people might look at you and think, oh, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But if you genuinely feared for your life, your children's lives, you'd probably want to, regardless of how it might make you look, you'd want to do what you could to get out of there, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm just saying like, other people may have made the same complaints, the same things, and then maybe they'd be able to get out of there. I don't know. But
Yeah.
fingers crossed for them. Fingies crossed.
Fingers
Shall we
and
move on
toesies.
to story 2?
Story 2, still on ghosts.
Still on ghosts, yes.
Very good.
All right, story number 2. The source for this story is the Jerusalem Post.
All right.
Here's the headline. Mr. Beast films ghost hunt at Giza pyramids with 100-hour access.
How did I not hear about this?
Well, exactly.
It's Mr. Beast. Everyone
You'd think
knows
you'd
about
have known
Mr.
about
Beast.
this
Your mum even heard about Mr. Beast.
My mum brought up Mr. Beast to us the other day. So
At Sunday dinner.
everyone should know this.
Yeah.
Let's delve into it and see if it sounds familiar. Maybe you've heard it somewhere.
Okay.
YouTuber Jimmy Mr. Beast Donaldson.
His name's Jimmy.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Mr. Beast, to be fair. I just know
don't-
of him.
I also said quote because it was quotation marks. It's not a quote. It's the nickname, Mr. Beast.
Oh,
But
you
I just said it
quote.
because it was quotation marks. Jimmy Mr. Beast Donaldson announced an ambitious new project involving Egypt's iconic pyramids of Giza. During an appearance on Beyond the Records podcast, hosted by Olympian Noah Lyles, Donaldson revealed that he secured access to all 3 of the pyramids for 100 hours to create a groundbreaking video for his YouTube channel. Quote, "We got all 3 of the pyramids for Egypt for 100 hours. I'm going to do a video where they're going to let me explore anywhere I want in the pyramids for 100 hours. Donaldson said on a podcast according to BFM TV. Donaldson, who boasts an impressive 337 million subscribers and over 67 billion views on his YouTube channel, expressed excitement about the upcoming expedition. Quote, "I'm so excited because there are also all these secret corridors deep inside. I don't know what to expect," he said. The project, which encompasses all 3 major pyramids, is happening with special permission obtained from the Egyptian government. During his 100-hour exploration, Mr. Beast plans to delve into public closed corridors, tombs, and secret rooms of the pyramids. He will record every moment of this experience to share it with the whole world, BFM TV reported. The YouTuber is even considering sleeping inside the pyramids during this extensive exploration. A tour guide will be present throughout the journey to explain the different areas of each pyramid, provide information about the history of the place. Quote, "During this period, only people who Mr. Beast and his team allow will be able to enter the pyramids." I can't see what that reported by something, and I can't pronounce it.
Oh.
Cumhuriyet is how it's spelled,
All right.
and I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. But okay, so that's the bulk of the story. But before we talk about it,
Okay.
there is a small update I found.
Oh.
Here's a little update. The Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities denies rumors that American YouTuber Mr. Beast rented the Giza pyramids for 100 hours. Quote, "This matter is completely untrue, illogical, and not possible in any way," the ministry stated. As reported by Ashak news, the ministry clarified that Mr. Beast was granted permission to film in the area during non-official working hours, ensuring no disruption to visitors. The site was not closed at any time during the filming period, according to UM7. So, when the way that quote came out made it sound like it was just entirely untrue. It's not. He did have permission to film and go into different areas. It's just not. It wasn't closed off. It was outside normal working areas. So, what do you think about that? What do you think Mr. Beast might find in the pyramids?
I'm actually really into this. I loved in school learning about like ancient Egypt and that. That was my favourite.
Yeah.
I would absolutely watch it. Is it recording it? Is it out yet? When's it out?
I don't think it's out yet.
Okay. That might be why I've not heard about it then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what was this. What was the podcast? It said that he was on a podcast. Is where he said this.
Right, yeah.
So it wasn't like in a press release or anything. What is it? The Beyond the Records podcast, hosted by Olympian Noah Lyles, which I've not heard of Beyond the Records or the Olympian, so I can't really comment on that. But he does a lot of podcasts where he says a lot of things.
Yeah.
And he said this thing.
He said this thing.
He said
That's so cool.
It is pretty cool.
That's such a cool idea for a video.
Despite him having 67 billion views, I'm not one of them. I've never watched a Mr. Beast video, but I might watch this one.
Yeah.
It might be interesting to watch this one and see what happens. Yeah. I mean, if he's doing it. So, this is under ghost because the headline was about how he's got access to this for a ghost hunt. But the actual quote he said, he didn't actually mention ghost hunting. He's just exploring.
Just exploring. Yeah.
Having said that, this is exactly the kind of place you'd expect to find ghosts.
Yeah.
So, if anything's going to happen, it could be here.
That's so cool. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
That'd be brilliant.
It would be. It'd be very interesting. I'm sure it'll be creepy, even if he doesn't see any ghosts. I'm sure it'll be a bit creepy in there.
Very unsettling.
And I don't think he has unlimited access. I'm pretty sure there's places in there they will not let you go.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. 100%.
So, a little skeptical as to how much access he's really been given, but very
interested
in seeing that.
Definitely.
Worth checking out. Do you know much about the pyramids, or any kind of conspiracy theories about it?
I've been talked about conspiracy theories with the pyramids from someone at work.
Okay. And what does he say, or she?
He reckons aliens.
Aliens?
Yeah.
What, built the pyramids?
Built the pyramids.
Okay. So the building the pyramids is the big one, right? The whole idea of, we don't know how they did it. We know it is possible with, like, very basic tools to build a thing in such a way that you have the leverage to move really heavy blocks, right? The real question lies in how you would move that many in that precise a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How do you get them all the way to the top? You can move them, but so you could build maybe Stonehenge is feasible, but the pyramids are a much bigger construction.
Yeah.
It'd be quite difficult. Having said that, there's also the argument that they just had tons and tons of slaves.
Yeah.
And just kind of made them do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how it happened, but that is what they say, basically, as far as I'm aware. The other sort of conspiracy theories are about what the tombs are for, where I think, if I remember correctly, because I'm going entirely off memory here, typically the pyramids, because there are smaller pyramids, are tombs.
Yeah.
Did I say tombs before?
I can't remember.
Anyway, typically the pyramids are tombs, I believe, for, like, pharaohs. Or at least other, like, high-level people in Egyptian culture, or ancient Egyptian culture. Whereas these pyramids, if I remember correctly, there's no evidence that they are tombs for anyone.
Right.
So their use and their meaning is unexplained. Like, you would think if you're going to build something that big, it would be for, like, the main, like, a really important, like, leader. But if you've built stuff for really important leaders, much smaller than this, you build this big thing, but it's not for anything. What is it for? You know?
Yeah.
And apparently there are also mystery, like, hidden areas within the pyramids.
Okay.
That, like, initially you didn't know, and then you're looking at, I think they've maybe done scans or something, like ground penetrating radar or something like that. and it's shown that there's like chambers in there, and it's like, well, what is that? You can't even access that. What's it there for?
So cool to explore that.
It would be very interesting, and maybe Mr. Beast will find his way into one of these chambers.
I'm actually so excited for this.
Yeah.
I might even subscribe.
This might get you to subscribe. This is what he does. This is how he's got the most subscribers.
He's got all them subscribers and we're not subscribed. Are you subscribed? No, you've never watched him,
no.
have you?
I mean, fair play to him. He's got a hell of a lot of subscribers.
Yeah.
I do think PewDiePie was, like, cooler as, like, the most subscribed to. Like, I really like how PewDiePie is just some random guy. Mr. Beast is just some random guy. But
yeah,
Mr. Beast's
PewDiePie was our generation's random guy.
Mr. Beast's whole thing is trying to be a big YouTuber.
Yeah,
videos.
PewDiePie was just doing his own thing.
PewDiePie was just making videos and just happened
to
become the most popular. And don't get me wrong, I didn't like PewDiePie when he first started, but then later on, I think he had some good stuff. And now he's like semi-retired.
Wow.
So he doesn't post as much anymore.
Family man now.
He is. So anyway, that's that story. Very interesting. We'll keep an eye on that.
Hope something spooky happens.
Hopefully, yeah. We'll try and keep an eye out and watch that video when it comes out. And if what really happens, we'll do a story about it, which will be pretty cool. So let's move on to story 3 for ghosts.
I'm ready.
The source for this story is odditycentral.com. Here's the headline. Man spends 3 days stuck in well because people mistook his cries for ghost wailing.
Oh, it's my worst nightmare.
Silly, this.
No. This, I tell you right now, before you start, this is like, just from that headline alone, this is like what them that keep coming up on TikTok, them stupid film video things. It's like short TV or something like that. Where it's like, I am the queen. It's like, you're not the queen. You're clearly dressed too poorly. And it's like, it's dragged out this long just to make you watch it, just to get a resolution out of it. But like, I'd be so, not being believed would infuriate me.
Yeah.
Like, guys, it's not a gut. I'm literally down a well. Excuse me. And they're just like, nope.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had that with like foxes before. Foxes are freaky out. They make freaky noises. Like babies, aren't they?
Yeah, foxes and like mountain lions and stuff, they sound like people screaming and crying at night.
Oh,
if you didn't know that it was that, you could easily be mistaken.
Anyway, let's get into the story.
Let's read the story. A 22-year-old man spent 3 days trapped at the bottom of a 12-meter deep well because villagers who heard his cries for help thought he was a wailing ghost and wouldn't approach the well. It's unclear what Liu Chuanyi, a young Chinese national, was doing in the forest on the border between Thailand and Myanmar, but he somehow fell into an abandoned well on the outskirts of a small village. Authorities believe he was trekking through the woods when he fell into the 12-meter deep hole, sustaining serious injuries like a fractured wrist, a cerebral concussion. Ooh. At first, he started shouting for help as loudly as he could, but as the hours passed, he realized he would exhaust himself quickly and diminish his chances of being rescued. He was right. He spent the next 3 days and 3 nights at the bottom of the well with no food or water, and had he not saved his energy, he would have probably died there. After desperately shouting for help when he first fell into the abandoned well, Liu Chuanyi began shouting for help only once every hour to save his strength. Even so, his cries went unanswered, not because no one heard them, but because people who did were convinced they were the cries of a ghost. Instead of approaching the well, nearby villagers stayed away, afraid of being attacked by spirits. Luckily for Liu, someone alerted the police about bizarre sounds coming from the forest, and as they investigated the area, they stumbled over the well he had fallen into. The rescue operation took about 30 minutes, but Liu's emaciated body showed just how much he had to endure over the 3 days and nights without food or water. There is still a lot about this story that we don't know, such as Liu Chuanyi's presence so far from home, but authorities plan to question him as soon as he leaves the hospital.
Oh, so he's still in hospital?
Yeah. So, not actually a ghost, confirmed not a ghost, but a cautionary tale. Be careful when you're walking through the woods. And if you hear something that might be a ghost,
call the authorities. If you're too scared, if you think that it's a ghost, but you're like, that is a bit weird though, I'd be like, look, I don't know if it's nothing, I don't know if it's something, but in case it is something and someone's in danger, there's this weird noise happening over there.
Sure. Yeah, call the authorities if you want.
Happening.
Either way, I mean, alert someone to it.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, if you hear some wailing, you think it's a ghost, even if it's scary, just go towards it.
Because if it is a ghost, then you can come on our podcast.
Right. It's win-win because, I mean, it's already dead. It's not going to hurt you. What are you worried about, right?
Well, that's what people are worried about. It might hurt them.
How
Demons.
How can it? I wouldn't worry about it. Demons. Anyway.
All right, then.
Win-win scenario. If it is a ghost, capture some evidence, prove life after death. Great. If it's not, save someone's life. So always go towards the noise. Right?
Always go towards the noise. That's Sam's advice to the listeners.
Unless it could be a trap.
Exactly.
It could be someone wanting to do kidnappings or something. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to because I'm going to stay at home. But if you're out there, go towards the noise.
Stop saying that. I mean, do what you want, but like I personally would be like, I'd report it to someone.
Yeah.
Whoever. I'd be like, look, there's a strange noise that keeps happening over yonder. What's that about?
What's it about?
What's it about?
So,
what the problem is?
Fortunately, what the problem is, this guy escaped. He was rescued, and I'm sure he'll be all right. Serious injuries, so like it was not a good time for him. Very traumatic.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll get over it anytime soon.
No.
But at the very least, he has survived. He can go on to
Poor man.
live his life.
And imagine getting
this
out of that well.
Why was this well not covered up? If it's abandoned, no one's using it. It should be cemented over or covered up with something.
How's he managed in that well anyway?
I don't know how this is happening.
But like, imagine you get out of that well. You've been in there for what were it, 3 days?
Yeah.
Awful. And it weren't just that there were no one about to help you. They just thought you were a ghost.
Yeah.
I'd be fuming.
Instead of being
I want to know him. Name by name. Go on.
Do you think he was
Say it to
down
my
that
face,
well,
say you're sorry.
being like, help? Instead of being like, excuse me, I'm trapped down a well. Can someone call the authorities? You know what I mean?
Help.
I'm trapped.
I'm trapped in the well.
Come over here.
We are knobheads.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah, maybe he was just shouting for
What
help
was he
really
saying?
ominously.
I don't know. Anyway.
To be fair, I think maybe they weren't hearing what he was saying, and it was just that he was
just a loud
yelling, and it
noise,
was like.
yeah.
To be fair, the well probably distorted it as well.
There were a lot of reverb.
Yeah,
A lot of reverb on that.
a lot of reverb.
Right, okay.
Okay,
Let's move on. That was all we have for ghosts.
that was all we had for ghosts.
That's
and
a December ghost.
yeah.
December 2024 ghosts. That's what you've
not
got.
a lot of revealed ghosts or actual like ghost
Apparitions,
sightings.
yeah. Not much of that this time around.
But
Maybe,
we'll check in after we've watched the Mr. Beast
maybe
video.
Mr. Beast captures a full-on,
Maybe.
full-body apparition.
Well, you'll hear about it before we do, I reckon.
It
Before we do on this podcast.
Yeah, because we do it monthly.
Yeah.
It'll come out, and then like a few weeks later, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's move
Old
on to
news.
UFOs. Now,
UFOs.
UFOs has been a big topic, as you've heard the last couple episodes.
Yeah.
It usually takes a while. There's a bit less this time, so I think it'll be a bit more digestible.
Okay.
But there is stuff happening. So
Yeah.
There's this first story is a story I've clumped together into two because they're kind of related. So I'll just go through them and then we'll have a little talk about it. The source for this first story, or the first source for it, is ukdefencejournal.org.uk. I'm wrong. It's the second story that's clumped together. This first one's on its own. Here's the headline for this first story. UK sets out position on unidentified aerial phenomenon. Phenomenon.
Sorry.
In a written question posed by David Reid, the Conservative Exmouth and Exeter East MP, the Ministry of Defence... Wait. No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, that's my mistake. Let me start
again.
again. In a written question posed by David Reid, the Ministry of Defence was asked to clarify its policy on reporting unidentified aerial phenomenon,
Yeah.
can't talk, otherwise known as UAP, and whether any new material on the subject has been classified since the UK's previous declassification programme. Luke Pollard, Armed Forces Minister, provided a detailed response stating, quote, "Whilst we are aware of the differing approaches currently being undertaken by other countries and allies in the investigation of unidentified aerial phenomenon, the Ministry of Defence's position on UAP remains unchanged, which is that in over 50 years, no sighting reported to the department has indicated the existence of any military threat to the United Kingdom. Pollard further highlighted that the MOD ceased to investigate reports of UAP in 2009. He explained the reasoning behind his decision. Quote, "It has been deemed more valuable to prioritise MOD staff towards other defence-related activities." Pollard also confirmed that no new material has been classified on the subject since the cessation investigations, stating, quote, "The MOD ceased to investigate reports of UFO or UAP in 2009 and has not classified any new material on the subject since." For those interested in historical reports, Pollard noted, quote, "All MOD files relating to UFOs that were created up until 2009 have been released to the National Archives, the TNA. While acknowledging the, quote, differing approaches taken by allies and other nations, the MOD made it clear that there are no plans to form a dedicated team to investigate alleged sightings, emphasizing the lack of evidence for a military threat despite public curiosity and the evolving international landscape. The UK has chosen to prioritize other defense-related activities over investigations into UAP." So that's the story. Nothing like new. It's not like there's a new sighting or anything, but it is interesting to have an update on, because we don't hear much from the UK on these subjects. Obviously, they have done before, as you pointed out. In 2009, they declassified a bunch of information, a bunch of UFO files, but typically we don't hear much from our government. We hear a lot from the US government, some from other places. So the US likes to talk, right? So we hear a lot from them, which makes it seem like UFOs only happen in the US, but that's not the case. As noted, the 2009 release declassification of UK UFO files and other serious notations of incidents have happened throughout the UK, and also we hear stuff like leaking from Russia, notably, what's his name? I know his name, but then when I have to think of it, it falls out of my head. George Knapp.
All right.
George Knapp, well-known journalist who does a lot of UFO-related stuff. He has talked about essentially going to Russia in the 90s and sneaking out classified UFO documents.
Yeah.
Which is quite a nutty thing to happen.
Nutty, yeah.
But there you go. Those documents showed that they were just as interested as everyone else in UFOs, but they don't talk about it. We know that there have been one of the oldest. So with David Grush, when he did his whistleblowing at Congress for the U.S. Army, when they were looking into UFO files, that the earliest one he found of a U.S. government one was something that happened in Italy, where they obviously will have had to talk to the Italian government to go and collect this craft that I guess they crashed and they retrieved, or whatever, however it happened. So these things do happen all over the world. There's also known stories from South Africa and Australia. These things happen. It's not just the US. It's just that the US seems to love to talk about it, so we hear a lot from them,
right?
Which is great for us. We want to hear about it, but everyone else is a bit more secretive about it, which is interesting. So there's a little update on
many secrets.
Well, exactly. There's a little update on the UK's current position for it. Do you have an opinion on that? What do you think? Do you think they should be that secret? Do you think there's a reason for it? When they're saying, "Oh, it's because there's no threat," that doesn't say it's not real. That means there's no military threat, that, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
And are they using that wording very intentionally? Do you think they should be more open?
What do they deem a threat?
True.
Maybe.
You think they should be more open about it, or do you think there's a good reason to be quiet about it?
I don't know. You try to avoid panic and that, right? But it's not like it's all big that's gonna be maybe there is.
Maybe there is. We don't know. We don't know what the depth of it is. I mean, there's rumors of our government, the world governments, working directly with aliens, essentially.
What?
Right? Which sounds crazy, but then we don't know. It's all such a mystery.
Yeah.
They don't tell us anything, so then rumors run rampant.
Well, that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
It's It's like when they try and do stuff like at work to tell something, but they have to do it one by one rather than like sending an email to your team or whatever. They have to take you in a meeting one by one. As soon as that first person goes in a meeting, everyone's like, "Oh my god, what's happening?" Everyone
Yeah.
just starts talking.
Everyone knows.
Everyone's coming up with all sorts of theories. No matter what, we're humans. It's what we do.
Yeah.
It's like we want to know, and if we don't know, we'll try and figure it out for ourselves. And here we are.
So if you
Coming
can
up
do,
with ideas.
it's
So
better to just tell
better
us.
to just tell us. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it wouldn't be as nearly as dramatic.
The argument for it in terms of military things is that the idea of crash retrievals and reverse engineering of UAP, the idea is that we wouldn't want to say anything about what we've reverse engineered and what we've discovered because they're not enemies, as they were enemies,
Right.
quote, because, I mean, they're just people. But, like, countries that do not agree with our opinions and that there is
Yeah.
we have strained relationships with, we don't want them to know what our capabilities are.
Right.
So you wouldn't want to let on. And if you tell the public, they'll find out.
Yeah.
There's no way to hide that then. So that's the argument from that point of view.
Yeah.
But if it's a matter of just the fact that they exist, you could presumably say that without letting anything on, right? Surely that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Just bloody well tell us.
Just tell us. Just bloody well tell us.
So let's move on from there.
Okay.
Here's our next story. The source for this is the Daily Mail. Headline: The New Jersey sheriff sent drone to follow mystery aircraft.
Oh.
A New Jersey police department has sparked concern after it revealed that a drone it sent up to track a mystery aircraft easily evaded their device before disappearing into thin air. Ocean County Sheriff Michael Mastronardi, yeah. There's a lot of weird names today.
Yeah.
Said his force launched its drone after one of his officers saw 50 unmanned aerial vehicles coming off the ocean. The officer dialed 911 to alert state police, the FBI, and the Coast Guard. The maritime agency then reported spotted 13 drones following their boat, estimating that the devices had a wingspan of 8 feet. Matronardi told News Nation's Rich McHugh the force put up an industrial-grade drone to follow one of the devices, but it quickly slipped through their grasp. On Friday, White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby insisted that the public had nothing to fear, despite the mass sightings. Kirby said most reports were likely to be cases where manned aircraft were mistaken for drones, but he admitted that officials were still struggling to corroborate some of the sightings and urged the public to continue to submit reports of any unusual activity. Ocean County Sheriff's Office said it has been struggling to track the flying objects as they don't give off heat like regular drones. Quote, "We don't know why. It's not something we've had our hands on or experienced," one officer said. McHugh also saw the drones and presented his findings on Elizabeth Vargas reports, admitting the discovery left him stunned. If this is not military, then it's even more terrifying. These things look like they are fixed wing and have multiple lights, he said. "I'm not really sure how to process what I saw last night. Both the photographer and I were kind of stunned." The first drone sightings appeared over the U.S. Army's Picatinny Arsenal and over Donald Trump's golf course in Bedminster on November 18th. Since then, the FBI has since received more than 3,000 tips, with reports of varying levels of credibility cropping up in at least 12 counties throughout New Jersey, as well as eastern Pennsylvania and Orange County, New York. So here's the other story I'm coming to with this because it's related.
Okay.
The source for this one is NBC New York. Headline is FBI joins hunt for answers behind nightly drone sightings in New Jersey. So obviously, I don't know which came first, but the sheriff from the last story said he contacted the FBI. So between that and probably other reports, they've obviously decided to get in.
Yeah.
The FBI is investigating who keeps sending drones into the sky of Morris County, though they say there appears to be no cause for public alarm. Neighbors say the drones have been appearing more frequently, and many are eager to know exactly where they're coming from. Those who have witnessed the prying eyes in the sky say the drones keep popping up in the late nights hours. Mike Walsh first spotted them in mid-November. He now sees them all the time. Quote, "We've been seeing them every night, except Thanksgiving. I guess they took the night off," Walsh said on Monday.
Interesting.
He said he first heard what sounded like a helicopter from inside his home. By the time he stepped outside, he knew it was something else. He contacted police, but so far he has not gotten many answers. Quote, "People think they were UFOs or being spied on," Erica Campbell said. "I really haven't heard much other than they were flying over Dover," said Alex Calais. Don't know. What are they looking for? Days ago, local police agencies issued a joint statement along with county prosecutors. Quote, "There is no known threat to public safety. This joint statement is being issued in response to rumours about the drone activity spreading on social media. We encourage the public to be mindful that what they read online may not be accurate." By Monday, news came out that the FBI was looking into drones as well. Quote, "It was flying right over this church, continued past the train station. It had 3 blinking lights," Christian Velasquez recalled. "It's weird. There's multiple being spotted at the same time all around Morris County. It's definitely concerning," he said. Police say they are continuing to monitor the situation. The FBI's Newark office, New Jersey State Police, and the state's Office of Homeland Security urge anyone who spots the drones or has any relevant information to call 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip online. So, we talked last week, I believe it was last week, about drones. And these articles said all the sightings first started in the US. We know that's not the case because they first started here in the UK.
Yeah.
In US-owned basis over the UK.
Yeah.
And then that was happening for a week or two. And then it spread over to the US and started happening. And seems to be heavily focused in New Jersey for some reason. And all over the place, even on Donald Trump's golf course.
Yeah.
And I remember reading a thing about how he cancelled a trip he was going to take there because he was warned it's probably not safe to do so.
Oh, wow. I didn't know about that.
And he probably has more information than,
Well, yeah.
because he is now the president-elect.
Yeah.
So, obviously, the FBI getting involved as well. It's a bit weird. I'm not sure what's going on, but this is escalating, this whole drone thing.
Yeah.
One of the quotes from the witnesses in this said that it sounded like helicopters outside. Now, that typically, from what we kind of gather, would suggest more traditional prosaic means, not UFO. Typically, what you hear about UFOs or UAPs is that there is no sound related to their movement.
Yeah.
Which would then suggest non-traditional means of propulsion.
Yeah.
Whereas if it sounds like a helicopter, drones have those blades going around.
Yeah,
That
them
would be a normal
propellers,
blade. Normal drone, sorry. But there have been a lot of reports of drones without any sound as well. So despite that one saying that, it's not the case for all of them.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit unusual, and this story isn't going away.
It's not going
Seems to
away.
be.
Can't ignore it.
But it is still treated, generally speaking, as nothing. Don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But I suppose if you're in New Jersey, where this is largely focused, that's probably kind of concerning.
Well, yeah.
There is speculation, of course, that it's not UFOs, UAPs could not be, that it is in fact maybe China or another adversary that is doing kind of a show of force of what they can do, what they're able to do, that they can evade tracking and that they're able to make these drones pop up everywhere, and everyone's like, where they're coming from, and you can't find where they're coming from, you can't find where they're going.
Can't track them.
They're able to stay up there for full days at a time, which drones typically aren't able to do. So it's quite
It's crazy, that.
unusual, yeah.
Yeah.
And it is also quite notable that, like, no one, if you're not listening, I think there's some news reports have like a little segment on it.
Yeah.
I think like Sky News will probably have a little bit on it, BBC will have a little bit on it, but it won't be a big topic. And unless you're listening to something like this, like a UFO specific podcast or something that deals with the UFO topic, no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
We go talk to your friends. No one's been like, oh, have you guys heard about this drone thing? And no one's saying any of it. But this has been happening for months.
Yeah.
Or at least 2 months. So what, you know what I mean? Like what is going on?
Yeah. I wonder if my dad's heard about it.
I'm sure he's heard about it, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Whether or not he has an opinion, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think it could be? What do you think's more likely?
I don't know.
It could also be the US testing
Yeah.
experimental things. It doesn't have to be China doing a show of force within the US. It could be the US doing a show of force within their own country, but that then China's going to hear about.
Right, yeah.
It could be that. But obviously they wouldn't say. They're not going to tell
Ooh,
us.
it's
They don't tell us
freaky, innit?
anything.
It's so freaky.
It is weird.
Yeah. Like when you see a drone, have you ever seen a drone? Like
Yes.
that not that someone you know has been controlling, that just some randomer's flown a drone near you and you don't know where that person is.
Sort of. Yeah, the YouTuber, retired YouTuber, Tom Scott, did a video at my work and he was flying a drone around. So I did know it was
yeah.
Tom Scott doing the drone.
Right, yeah.
But I didn't know where he was. I just saw a drone hovering.
Right, yeah. It's so unsettling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
I mean, I remember when like drones were first like coming about, as in like anyone could buy them.
Yeah.
I think before they started doing like licenses and that, you have to get a license for a certain size of drone or something, is it?
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, I was walking home one time from my friend's house and just in the neighbourhood, literally walking past my primary school I used to go to, and these drones are just coming down the street. There's not a soul about. There's no one about, and I'm like, that's freaky.
Yeah.
That's so freaky. And I saw a video the other day that, like, you know them that do like a fireworks display drone or whatever. Did you see that video of them all malfunctioned at once and they just dropped?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I think we watched that together.
oh, did we?
I think we did.
Like, that's freaky, man.
Yeah.
But that's really unsettling is when there's a drone, and because you know it can see things, right? You know it's got a camera.
Yeah.
But where is the person? I
Don't know.
don't fuck with that. That scares me.
True. Although, bear in mind, we're on camera all the time when you're in public.
I know, we're in England. Of course we are.
There's constant security, so there's kind of not... It's just that
No,
one's
it's-
more obvious. You
Yeah.
don't know about the other cameras.
Because it's a moving thing, right?
Yeah.
You can't really... Like, it could chase you.
Could do. Yeah, it is very unusual. And unfortunately, while we're getting more stories and more people reporting it and it's escalating, we're not really getting any answers. We're not getting any closer
And
to
why
an answer.
specifically New Jersey?
I don't know. What is it about New Jersey? I don't know enough about like U.S. military hotspots or like anything like that to know whether or not New Jersey has a particular thing about it.
Maybe.
I do think it's interesting that it's not just the terminology, people calling them drones, but like the way they're seemingly shaped more like drones.
Yeah.
Only happened since we invented drones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not like, it's not like they're the same UFOs, like saucers, whatever, but we're calling them drones now.
Yeah.
Their shapes are different. They seem to be being referred to more like they are in the shape of drones.
Yeah.
Although I have heard multiple times people saying they are the size of SUVs.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know if, I'm not there. I haven't seen it with my own eyes, but I have heard people say that.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Very strange. I've also heard rumor that they're being launched off of some ship, like a boat out in the ocean.
All right.
Again, I don't think that's confirmed. I don't think there's any direct evidence that there has been a ship. I don't think anyone's seen that, but that is something some people say. I think maybe it's one of those things where they're like, oh, how would you get all of these here?
Yeah.
And assuming it wasn't our own military or something, an adversary would do it, would have to be, or some other people that aren't launching them from New Jersey itself would have to have a ship off the coast of some kind of
Like
mothership.
Yeah. Oh, a mothership. Oh.
And they'd have to be launching them then that way. So that could be something. I don't know.
No.
So just tell us.
Tell us.
Just tell us.
Tell us.
Come on.
All we're asking is tell
I
us.
just want to know.
We're just curious.
Okay.
Okay.
So, have you got anything more to say on that before we move on?
Don't think so.
All right then.
I just want answers, really.
We want answers.
No.
That's Ghost Adventures reference.
Oh. I didn't get it. Went over my head.
Okay, this next story. The source for this is the Huffington Post.
Huffington Post.
This is just a little story. Just a little
one.
story. A little bit to talk
Sprinkling.
about. Joe Rogan says he doesn't expect KG Trump to drop government UFO secrets after drone sightings. Joe Rogan has shared whether he thinks President-elect Donald Trump will blow the lid off classified information on rumored UFOs when he takes office in January. While speaking with UFO documentary filmmaker James Fox in a new episode of The Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan got candid about the US government's response to the strange drone sightings in cities like New Jersey and New York, which some have speculated to be UFOs. The podcast host, who interviewed Trump in October ahead of November's election, told Fox that he doesn't anticipate Trump will be any more forthright than President Joe Biden about the purported extraterrestrial spacecrafts. Quote, "When I confronted Mr. Trump during our interview, he was very cagey, very cagey. He didn't tell me shit," Rogan said on Tuesday. It was basically like neither confirm nor deny. "I think he knows something, I just don't think he's interested." In Trump's October 26th interview with Rogan's podcast, he told Rogan he's never been a believer of aliens and UFOs. Referencing how Trump recently claimed the government knows where the drones originated, Rogan said, quote, "When you think of the capabilities of the United States military, it doesn't make any sense that they can't figure out what's going on. I think what Trump said is probably correct, that the government knows, they know what's happening, and they don't want to tell people." He added earlier this month, Trump told reporters that the federal government knows the origin of the mystery drones flying over New Jersey and other East Coast states, but he wants to keep people in suspense. He doesn't want to, but the government wants to keep people in suspense. Claiming that the government knows what's happening, Trump said, "Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment," Trump added. "And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows, and for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense." So that's what Trump specifically said about it. So I think this story is interesting for a couple of reasons. First of all, you would assume Trump would be the most likely to release them. The least likely to want to keep historical secrets and be like, whatever, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Having said that, I don't know why you'd think he'd do it, considering he was already president and didn't do it then.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what's the difference now?
Yeah.
You know? So I think it's interesting that. I also think it's interesting that Joe Rogan, not that I don't think he's like best mates with Trump or whatever, but Trump goes to a lot of UFC things, and Joe Rogan is heavily involved with the UFC, obviously commentates on that. So he talks to him a decent amount, I'd say.
Yeah.
He's got sort of an in with him. If he says he knows something, I think he's probably right. He probably does know more than he's letting on. The fact that he's not interested in it is kind of weird. And that kind of suggests to me that either it's not aliens, or it's maybe just not that interesting altogether,
right?
Which is unfortunate to say, but even for someone like Trump, who maybe generally speaking doesn't care about it, if you find out and it's bloody well aliens,
aliens,
that's interesting to anybody, surely. Even if you're not kind of generally into it, surely if you find out we're directly communicating with extraterrestrial life, how can that not be interesting?
Yeah.
So it is a little bit unusual, and I find it a little bit strange the way it's talked about. I don't know. I don't quite have a grasp on what's going on there. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts?
Empty head, no thoughts.
Empty head, no thoughts.
Do
you think? Yeah. Do you think he does know more?
Maybe. Maybe. Very weird.
It is weird. Do you think? I don't know. I don't really have much else to add on it. I thought it was interesting to bring up, but I don't really know what to say about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's not interested.
There's only one thing I can say. Tell us. Bloody well tell us.
Again, bloody well tell us.
All right, let's just move on from that. Let's go on to the next story. The source for this story is the Daily Mail. Again. Headline: Apparent UFO images leak from Pentagon's secret data retrieval program, Immaculate Constellation, which we talked about
here we go
on
again.
the first podcast, I believe.
We did.
Okay. Here we go. An email containing incredible UFO images, allegedly from U.S. military UFO sightings, has been leaked online by an anonymous source.
What?
The leaker claimed that they had accessed an alleged top-secret UFO data retrieval program, known as Immaculate Constellation, made famous this past November in a blockbuster public hearing before Congress. The black and white images show ornately spiked cruciform UFOs, boomerang-shaped flying wings, a floating hot cube, traditional flying saucers, and several other craft that look straight out of classic science fiction.
This sounds bizarre.
It is bizarre, but that's the whole thing. The whole thing's kind of bizarre. The screen grabs are said to be from infrared and thermal camera footage taken by military heads-up displays, but details were redacted to protect both sensitive U.S. national security interests. These unsettling depictions of highly varied craft were first made public by Nathan Latvatis, who runs a YouTube channel called Strange Mysteries.
Oh.
This person has asked me to redact their email address, Latvatis told his followers, although I can tell you that there is nothing identifiable in it.
Right.
The sensational images have elicited heated debate among UFO believers and skeptics alike. However, with many on both sides questioning the leaker's story. Over the course of 2 weeks of correspondence with the leaker, Latvatis and his followers given tantalizing but uncorroborated details on the craft depicted. The UAPs observed demonstrate capabilities far beyond conventional aerospace benchmarks, the leaker said in a third update posted to YouTube on November 30th. The so-called cruciform, or cross-shaped entities, according to their account, exhibit aggressive maneuvers and high-energy emissions capable of disabling systems such as the EODAS, a reference to the advanced sensors on the F-35 stealth fighter jet. Short for Electro-Optical Distributed Aperture System. Mm-hmm. It is a sensor suite that gives the F-35 stealth fighters pilots a 360-degree view for a quick, high-definition picture of everything around them, according to its manufacturer, Raytheon. Improved missile detection is one key goal in making the EODAS, even though it may prove helpless against these purported cruciform UFOs. The cruciform entity shows distinct behaviors indicating functional differences, according to the self-described insider to the Immaculate Constellation program. Shape-shifting has been observed, possibly due to advanced cloaking or optical refraction, referred to as morphogenic behavior, allowing for adaptation to environment or missions, the leaker continued. Details were scarce on some other craft shapes, though the leaker noted all these crafts, like the boomerang UFOs, squares, and classic saucers, demonstrate transmedium travel, non-ballistic motion, and localized gravity manipulation. While many of these UFOs emit electromagnetic signatures that disrupt ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance systems, causing sensor malfunctions on human-made systems, they said one broad category was less disruptive. Orb-class UAPs focus on surveillance with minimal EMF, electromagnetic frequency interference, according to the leaker. Speaking to NASA last year, ex-CIA physicist Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, then head of Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Research Office, AARO, said, "We see these metallic orbs all over the world." Dr. Kirkpatrick, a career laser and optical physicist, called these orbs the most commonly reported type of UFO to AARO's team. And we see these making very interesting apparent maneuvers, he said. But cruciform UFO shapes were not called out by name in his report to NASA, which did note that 7% of sightings fell into miscellaneous other shapes. In his email to Latvatis, the leaker asserted that he selected the YouTuber over more mainstream journalism outlets specifically to avoid having to verify his own claims. Many traditional media outlets would require verification on my identity and credentials, the leaker told Latvatis in his email, shown in a Strange Mysteries video. This is not feasible due to the risks involved, the leaker explained. Those news media organizations, despite their best intentions, are not equipped to handle the level of secrecy and potential retaliation associated with this information. The leaker described their motives as desire to inform on important information that has been classified and intentionally withheld from the public regarding unidentified aerial phenomenon on the ongoing covert operations surrounding them. I was part of one of the legacy programs, the leaker wrote. I know that's vague, but unfortunately that's all I can offer at this point. Multiple UFO true believers on social media expressed doubt over the leaker's story, particularly the unknown individual's response to that skepticism. The mixed orientation of some images suggests they were probably scanned from a printout and the images varied in terms of their detailed sensor noises and subtle software responses to motion blur. In my opinion, this has the variety I would expect to see from a collection of images captured on different platforms over the years. The user posted to Reddit's r/UFOs. On the Skeptics forum Metabunk, many dismissed the videos as too low information to properly vet or investigate, with some claiming it might have been released as a premeditated disinformation effort. So there's a story, and there's some images here, so I'll bring up the first one.
Oh, goody!
I'll put all these in the
description.
description, so you'll be able to see them. So this is one of them. That's a UFO, supposedly from the Immaculate Constellation program.
Okay.
What do you think about that one?
Spooky.
Pretty spooky. There'll be a few others. I'll just show a few of them. So I think the whole... So that's one of the weird shapes one.
Oh,
the crucified
yeah.
shaped one. Cruciform.
Cruciform.
I think his whole thing is like, I didn't want to tell mainstream journalism outlets because I didn't want to have to verify my credentials. He's a bit suspect.
Yeah.
And I get the whole thing with his reasoning, like, that's too dangerous for me to do that. They could find out and then who knows what might happen to him. But other whistleblowers and leakers have gone through that because that's the only way for anyone to genuinely believe you. If you show, I did this is who I am, this is where I'm from, then at least there's a reason to believe you. Whereas
because now we're taking it with a pinch of salt.
Who knows what this is? Looks like this could have been made in Unity. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's interesting though. Some weird shapes in these.
Yeah.
In these UFOs. Bring up another one. Like that. Some Star Wars kind of stuff.
Yeah. Very much so, yeah.
I had a look at this Strange Mysteries YouTube channel. And these videos on this leak he's been doing for a little while, and there's been multiple updates. Not just like 3 or 4, there's been like 8, 9, something like that. So he keeps putting out new ones, milking it a little bit. But I don't know. I've not watched the actual videos. I just looked and I had to see how many he was kind of doing. And I don't quite know what to make of this. I think I'm leaning towards this being nonsense.
Right.
He's come out with it after we find out about Immaculate Constellation.
Yeah.
He's saying he don't want to verify credentials. That's a Batman one.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, yeah.
I don't know. Something about it feels a bit off to me. What do you think?
Yeah. It's a bit suspicious, isn't it?
It is suspicious.
Well, a lot of pictures as well.
There are a lot of pictures. But there's nothing in the background. There's nothing for scale. There's no banana for scale.
No banana for scale, Sam.
Nothing to reference size or anything else. It's just kind of the shape on a black and white thing with some redacted information.
Yeah, supposedly.
Supposedly.
Not supposedly.
Yeah, so
it's all just...
I don't know. I mean, you could argue the same about like the Go Fast, Gimbal and Tic Tac videos from 2017, I think it was, that kind of kicked off the current craze of UFOs. They're kind of black and white. It's infrared. There's not much else going in the background.
Yeah.
But the difference with them is they're videos, so you've got motion.
Right.
And you've got audio of the US, the military people. I can't think of the word.
Yeah.
Officers or whatever. They're in the background talking about it.
Yeah.
And they're referencing what you're seeing and talking about how it's weird and they don't understand what's going on. So that kind of adds a bit of something to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's still images. We don't know who this guy is. That's a ceiling fan, fairly sure.
That's definitely a ceiling fan.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm a little skeptical of this one. I don't know, and you wouldn't want to ever completely dismiss something outright because who knows?
Oh my God, there's so many.
There's a lot of
them.
them. I'm not going to click on them all, but...
That's mental.
Yeah. I don't want to dismiss it outright because it could be true. I don't know that it's not.
Yeah, but
it is a little...
bit suspicious. That
exactly, yeah. So...
Verifying.
If we find out something more, if anyone else knows something more, or if he wants to fucking talk to me directly, if I still wouldn't believe him then, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. How am I supposed to verify him?
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. I suppose I'll keep an open mind, but If you ask me right now, I'm saying it's probably not true. That one.
Yeah, me too.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a genuine leaker could go to a YouTube channel and leak that way? And do you think that'd be a valid way of leaking something? Avoiding like typical things like, so imagine you were working at one of these classified programs, and they were on to be on top of leaks. They don't want stuff leaking out.
Yeah.
You would think they'd be sort of monitoring any potential activity of you talking to journalists or reporters, right?
Yeah.
Whereas they don't necessarily look at you talking to a YouTuber. You would think they would more likely nowadays, but it may be something you have a bit more leeway in. So you could look at it that way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Leak it on live.
Some journalists are YouTubers as well, so
Twitch stream it.
Also, this Strange Mysteries YouTube channel, it's not like someone with 400 subscribers where I'll be like, yeah, this definitely isn't true. He's a bit more substantial. I think he has nearly 2 million.
All right.
So it's a decent sized YouTube channel. So it's not nothing, and I suppose it is a place you could put something out to quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
If you were going to leak something, would you leak to a YouTube channel?
Probably.
Yeah?
I probably would. I don't know what I'm doing, you know?
Over going to the Daily Mail or something.
Yeah. I would, actually.
Yeah. Who would you leak to?
No, that's what I'm saying. No, I'd stream it live.
Or you'd stream it yourself?
I'd stream it.
But then it might not go to many people. You want a lot of people to know about this quickly.
I have so many followers, so...
I think we have one subscriber, maybe 3.
Oh, hello, our 1 or 3 subscribers. Probably 1 because 2 of them are probably ourselves.
Probably.
Hi, Kaylee, if you listen to the podcasts.
Hello, Kaylee.
And anyone else who might stumble across
Anyone
it.
else who listens, hello to you too. Please. Like, comment, and subscribe. Pretty please.
Anyway, we're not done yet.
I mean, if you listen this deep, you might as well subscribe.
Yeah.
You might as well at this point.
You've gone balls deep.
Exactly.
May as well.
Okay, so that's all I have for UFOs.
Okay.
So that's everything that happened with UFOs in December 2024.
Right.
While you were busy having your Christmas, all these drone sightings were going on. Joe was saying Trump's not going to say anything. And
There were some
people were leaking images from Immaculate Constellation. It was all going on while you were busy eating your Christmas dinner.
It was.
You should have been paying attention, guys. Don't know what you're doing.
Celebrating Christmas.
Yeah.
Being cozy.
Let's move on to cryptozoology.
Oh, Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's always Bigfoot.
It's always Bigfoot.
It's always Bigfoot and Nessie, isn't it?
Oh, is it Nessie as well?
There's no Nessie this
No
time.
Nessie,
There was
just
a thing.
Bigfoot.
There was a thing about Nessie, but again, it was a compilation of like, Nessie's 2024 sightings, and it's like,
Right.
I don't want to look at that one. So it's mostly just Bigfoot.
Okay.
Let's dig into it.
Let's dig in.
First story, sources ABC News.
Okay.
Here's the headline: 2 Oregon men die from exposure in a forest after they went out to look for Sasquatch.
Oh.
This is, I think, kind of similar to the well story, to be honest with you. More of a cautionary tale. 2 Oregon men were found dead in a Washington state forest after they failed to return from a trip to look for Sasquatch, authorities said Saturday. When I say the days, this is the days from it was posted, but then we record at the end of the month, so it's not.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it wasn't last Saturday, don't worry about it. The 59-year-old and 37-year-old appear to have died from exposure in a Skamania County Sheriff's Office said via Facebook. The weather and the men's lack of preparedness led the office to draw that conclusion, it said. The 2 men were found in heavily wooded area of the Gifford Pinchot National Forest, or Pincot maybe, which is about 150 miles or 240 kilometers northeast of Portland. A family member reported them missing around 1 a.m. on Christmas Day after they failed to return from a Christmas Eve outing. Imagine Christmas Eve, instead of hanging out with your family, let's go looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe
nuts.
they don't have family.
Maybe not. Well, no, someone
Oh.
of their family. What did it just say? Let me go back. A family member reported them missing, so they have at least one family member.
Right. That missed them.
Yeah.
Oh.
6
That's
volunteers.
so sad.
It is sad. 6 volunteer search and rescue personnel helped in the 3-day search, including K9, drone, and ground teams.
Drone. Sorry.
K9. Dogs.
I know. I just said drone because we just gone on about drones.
The Coast Guard used infrared technology to search from the air. Authorities used camera recordings to locate the vehicle used by the pair off Oklahoma Road near Willard, which is on the southern border of the National Forest. So that's the whole story. If you're going to go looking for Bigfoot,
Be prepared.
be prepared. Don't go out there with
So it was Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. They thought, let's go
what,
out.
These two were they mates?
He said two men, and then there was a family member. So that kind of suggests maybe they were related. But it doesn't explicitly say, I don't think.
Right. Oh, God.
Why
would you go Sasquatch hunting on Christmas Eve?
Maybe they thought that's the time to find him. No one else is out and about, right? So it's more likely to be...
Does Bigfoot celebrate Christmas?
He might do.
Knows?
I don't know.
Who knows?
But the thing is, it doesn't say if they found anything.
Oh, maybe they did, and that's why they died. No, it's exposure, wasn't it?
Maybe they didn't. I mean...
Oh, we're just theorising here. We're just
Now, don't take this seriously, because this is a genuinely serious situation. Someone, a couple of people have died. But just for the sake of keeping it light, and I don't know who these people are. You hopefully don't know who these people are. Let's just take this with a pinch of salt. Conspiracy. They found something. They went to report it. And then the authorities, after them, took away the footage or the evidence. They don't want people to know.
Maybe.
Bigfoot's real? Maybe.
I just can't believe they actually went Sasquatch hunting on Christmas Eve.
It is a weird time to do it, but I mean, I don't know.
To be fair, I don't get it anyway. I don't get Sasquatch hunting.
If the idea that Bigfoot is sort of skittish and doesn't like it when people are around, Christmas Eve, no one's out and about.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
I'd have done it Christmas Day, in all honesty.
It's not like they went hunting and found Bigfoot. They went hunting for Bigfoot.
They were looking for him.
Maybe they did find. Maybe it did find him. Maybe Bigfoot found them first, and that's, I don't know. Very strange.
Very. Oh, it's sad though.
It is
sad.
sad.
Story.
In all seriousness, I'm best wishes to the family.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I do. I would say I don't want to discourage people from looking for Bigfoot, because if you can find him,
be prepared.
Yeah, be careful about it.
Yeah.
Like, because you have to go out in the wilderness if you're looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And it's not a safe place to be if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So be very careful. Okay.
If you do find Bigfoot, let us know.
Yeah, send us an image, a video, please. Okay, story 2. The source for this one is Unexplained Mysteries.
Oh.
The headline is Alleged Bigfoot Photographed in Canyon near Ganado, Arizona. So we do have a photograph of Bigfoot this time.
We've got a photograph.
We have another one.
An actual evidence.
The image, which is said to show a large humanoid creature, has recently been the subject of some heated debate online. Reportedly taken on the Navajo land between cornfields and Greasewood, Arizona, this intriguing photograph has been doing the rounds on social media over the last couple of weeks. The person who posted it claimed that her aunt captured the image at the end of a small canyon after hearing strange noises while out with her livestock on her homestead.
Oh my God, what if it was a man down a well? Sorry.
It wasn't. Little else is known about the case other than the creature was allegedly sighted again a few days later, but the family had decided not to try and hunt it down, but to instead just leave it alone. Stories of such creatures have been reported and told in the region for many years. The image itself gained renewed attention when it was picked up by the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization, which also put out a detailed analysis video. See below. If in the article there is a video.
Right.
I've not linked to the video, just the image.
Okay.
I don't know how much analysis you can really do on this image, to be honest with you. So I don't think the video is going to be that interesting. The image itself gained... sorry, I've already read that. While some social media users maintain that the image shows a genuine Sasquatch, others are not so sure and believe it is either a deliberate hoax or a case of mistaken identity. Without additional physical evidence to back up the sighting, all anyone can really do is speculate. So here are 2 links for the image. Let's open the first one.
Okay.
There he is.
Oh my God, that's it.
He's right there.
That looks like a painting.
You think? Does that look like Bigfoot to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but there he is. We found him.
Or just some random bearded
How
man.
big's that tree, you reckon? for scaling Bigfoot? Or you reckon it's just a bush?
I think it's just a bush.
Could be. Could do with a banana for scale.
Why is there no banana?
Well, people should just have bananas if they're going to take pictures.
Mm.
And now let's have another look at the next one, which will really outline Bigfoot in case you missed him.
Okay.
There he is.
Oh, there he is. Why is it flipped now?
I don't know why this is flipped.
Zoom in.
Can I zoom
I
in?
think you can pinch to zoom.
Oh, I can do. There he is, Bigfoot. Looking a bit old, got a bit of a mustache, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, you think he's looking at us?
No, I think he's looking that way.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And we found him.
Wow.
Good job, boys. We found him. Can all go home now.
Wow.
There he is.
There he is.
What's he doing on that rock?
He's writing a letter.
Crafting?
He's writing a letter to a female.
A female?
A love letter.
A sarsaquella.
A sasquella.
So there we are. We found him, Bigfoot.
we
That's
found
it.
him. Yeah.
Job done. I don't know
That's
why
it.
we question that anymore. That's a picture of Bigfoot right there.
He's not going to be on the podcast anymore because he's been found.
We don't need to talk about him. Mystery solved.
There you go.
Anything else to say about that?
That was a good picture. I actually am like, I don't know what to
You
think of
genuinely
that.
think that is Bigfoot?
At first I was like, well, I mean, it could be just some random fella.
But then you were convinced by the outline. Oh no, yeah.
Then
that is
it was
Bigfoot.
outlined. I was like, oh my god, maybe it is Bigfoot.
It bloody
I don't
well is.
know. Looks a bit little.
Well, we don't have the banana for scale, so we don't really know.
Well, yeah, that's it.
We can't tell how big he is.
So it's not absolute evidence because there's no banana for scale.
If you want us to believe it, bring a banana.
And that was taken by someone's auntie, did it say?
Let me have a look. Let me roll back in the story and see
Roll
if I
back,
can find
roll it back.
it.
Roll back the tape.
It has been. That's one.
Da-da-da.
The person who posted it claimed that her aunt captured the image.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
So, an auntie.
Turns out it was just that person's uncle, and the auntie was just taking a picture.
That's one hairy uncle.
Have you seen uncles? Some of them can be very
I've
hairy.
seen a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can be
I
hairy.
think some of them can be. Some of them have big feet too.
We've debunked it.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
This is another Bigfoot story.
It's all Bigfoot.
It would be, wouldn't it?
It's the Bigfoot hour.
The source for this is kyma.com.
KYMA.com.
Headline: Bigfoot Discovery Museum in California closing after 20 years.
What? After we just got absolute
found him,
evidence?
guys. Come on.
There's no need.
The Bigfoot Discovery Museum in the Santa Cruz Mountains will close after 20 years as its owner retires.
Aww.
It's going to be a weird one for me. Yeah, I'm so used to this, and I've been doing this for so long, to suddenly have it all go away and everything is going to be strange, said Michael Ruggs, the museum's owner.
Aww.
The iconic museum, located alongside Highway 9 in Felton, has embodied the quirkiness of Santa Cruz for 20 years, but as Ruggs retires, the museum will retire alongside him. Quote, well, anywhere from 30 to 70 people come in the door and they'll check everything out, and I show them our local sighting map, and they're usually amazed to see how many sightings have been in this area. I was amazed too, because when I opened it, I didn't expect this to happen, Ruggs shared. Ruggs says he first saw Bigfoot when he was a kid. Quote, I looked upstream, and when I looked back towards the woods, whoa, here's this big hairy guy standing there looking at me. And we had eye contact for about the count of 3. Then I heard my mother screaming, Mikey, where are you? So I thought, oh, geez, I better get back, Ruggs detailed.
Oh.
So he started that shop up because he had a personal sighting.
Oh, that's making me so sad. Why is no one else taking over it?
Maybe no one else believed as hard as him.
I don't think so.
No one else has seen that photo we just looked at.
Oh, yeah,
He's
there you
real.
go. He is real. Oh, that's so sad.
It's not.
Good for him. He made that whole
he's-
thing. It's what, 20 years was it? Is it?
I'll have to roll back because my memory is
back.
very short. Like you.
Like, oh.
Yeah, 20 years.
Wow. I bet he had the best time doing that.
I
bet
think
he
that would have been a fun job.
absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Doing that for 20 years, though. Good on him.
It's quite something to keep up for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's only closing now. It was still going through COVID.
Yeah. I mean, Bigfoot's still out there in COVID. He didn't have a mask on. He didn't care.
He didn't matter. Exactly.
So that's everything for cryptozoology. That's your big three. So if you wanted to know what was going on with the big three over December 2024, you've had it.
You've had it.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Hey.
Oh.
I do have one more story for you. One more other. You know.
Okay.
And I've been asked. So I was asked specifically to talk about the Antarctic by a friend. So this one's out to you, Dale.
Ah, Dale.
So we've got this little story. The story itself isn't that interesting, but it leads us into talking about it. Well, we'll talk a little bit about conspiracies.
Ooh.
Just to finish out here.
Okay.
The source for this one is Lad Bible.
Oh, God. Okay.
Here we go. Headline: Flat Earther goes on Antarctica expedition to prove theory only to discover it's actually round.
Amazing.
All right. A popular YouTuber and flat earther travelled all the way to Antarctica to put his theories to the test, only to realise the planet is very much round. Many pseudoscience and conspiracy theories have come and gone over the years, but none have quite had the same staying power as the flat earth theory. Enter the final experiment, a collaborative project between flat earthers and round earthers willing to settle the debate once and for all. The test is simple. The group, which comprises of various YouTubers, travelled all the way to Antarctica this month, December 2024.
Whoa.
Cold.
Chile.
With the goal of observing a 24-hour sun on the continent. The presence of a 24-hour sun would definitively prove the world is round, as the phenomena would simply not exist on a flat Earth. The results are now in, proving that, spoiler alert, the planet has always been and always will be round, a round 3D ball. Content creator Geron Campanella reluctantly admitted that he was wrong on camera.
Good for him.
Campanella, who is known for his channel Geronism, has been an outspoken voice on the flat Earth scene and agreed to go on the expensed trip to settle the debate. Appearing on a live stream after witnessing the 24-hour sun, Campanella told the camera, "All right, guys, sometimes you're wrong in life."
Good for him.
Quote, "I thought there was no 24-hour sun. In fact, I was pretty sure of it, but I respect Will Duffy, the Glober, who paid for his trip, for being a stand-up guy, at least in the way that he kept saying it was true. I kept saying it wasn't."
Wow.
Explaining on how his views had now changed, Campanella added, "Don't listen to my beliefs or my opinion. It shouldn't matter to you, but at least you should be able to accept that the sun does exactly what these guys said as far as circles the southern continent. So that's about it. I realise that I'll be called a shill, an ex-flat earther who tries to convince others the world is round, for just saying that. And you know what? If you're a shill for being honest, so be it. I honestly believed there was no 24-hour sun. I honestly now believe there is. That's it. Debate settled."
Wow. Debate settled.
So there you go. That's what happened there. So we've confirmed the Earth is round.
Good for him.
Yeah, he didn't try and have a reason why.
Yeah.
Why wasn't he? Just
Didn't
went with
like
it.
throw a hissy fit out.
But so here's why we bring up Antarctic.
Okay.
So the Antarctic is has been home to a lot of conspiracy theories over the years.
Okay.
Specifically, I think one of the big things that kind of makes it intriguing is the Antarctic Treaty. Okay?
Okay.
Let me tell you a little bit about this. This
on.
was signed in Washington on the 1st of December 1959 by 12 nations that had been active during the IGY. I don't know what IGY is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is 12 nations: Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Chile, France, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, South Africa, United Kingdom, United States, and the USSR. Interesting that it's US and Russia.
Yeah.
Natural adversaries.
Mm-hmm.
But they both agreed on this.
Right.
The treaty, which applies to the area south of 60 degrees south latitude, is surprisingly short but remarkably effective. Through this agreement, the countries active in Antarctica consult on the uses of a whole continent with a commitment that it should not become the scene or object of international discord. So basically, these governments all got together and said, this area is kind of we decide what goes on here. Now, as far as I'm aware, it's not technically off limits to the public. You can go there if you really want, if you're able to chart a flight there.
Yeah.
Flights generally don't fly over there. I've heard that argument is because of the treaty where they're not allowed to, but I've also heard the argument that it's just bad weather and not great conditions for flying.
Yeah.
Which also kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But the real question is, why is there this big treaty? Like, I know, generally speaking, no one would want to go. Why would you want to go there? It's inhospitable.
Yeah.
The only thing that is there is a few small, like, scientific research outposts. But it like, why would they want to stop you? Like, why would they have such control over this particular area? You know what I mean? Interesting. So there are some other some conspiracy theories about it that they're hiding something. So here's a few things they could be hiding. Again, if we're talking flat Earth, which we've just proven isn't true, but let's just go with it.
Okay.
Antarctica ice wall hiding the edge of the flat Earth. So there is, if you believe in flat Earth, there's this whole idea that there is an ice wall around it. And that is the edge of the Earth. And if you go past that, you just fall off it.
You fall right off.
And they don't want you to know that, so you're not allowed there.
Right. Noted.
So that's one option. Okay? Another thing is apparently there is a glacier there where some red liquid oozes out of it called blood falls. And I don't know that I know the exact conspiracy theory about what people think that is, but it's unusual. So the more grounded explanation given is that it's algae, giving it this red tint.
Oh, okay.
And I guess it would be like, what exactly the liquid is, like, I don't know. Would it be slightly melted water oozing out of like sort of frozen outside, but the inside is somehow heated to some extent and some of it's coming out a little bit? But it seems, the way it's described as oozing sounds less water and more like honey. Kind of thickness, you know what I mean?
That sound kind of consistency.
So what is that? I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, there's UFO crashes, so maybe it's something UFO related. Rumors of UFO crashes in there. Could be something to do with that. There's the singing ice sheet. So.
The what?
Not singing. It's not singing a song. But I guess there's an ice sheet and there's a constant hum.
Oh.
Like as the wind
like
whistles
that
over it.
Ball.
What ball?
That metal ball thing I were on about in the first podcast.
I don't recall.
Did it hum? Or did it just have an ear or a presence?
What metal ball?
Don't worry about it.
What metal ball are you talking about?
That orb thing.
Which orb?
Don't worry about it. You've clearly not listened to the podcast.
I was there. I don't remember what metal ball you're talking about.
I was referencing another podcast. And it was like that like sphere thing that person found and they kept it, but it was really unsettling.
Oh, actually, I do. I
And
think
then,
I
like,
remember.
the
Yeah,
military got involved or something.
that sounds sort of familiar now. Yeah. So, I think the whole thing with the ice sheet, it's supposed to be like there's wind blowing against it, and something to do with the reverberation. It's probably one of those things where everything else kind of where we are is too rough or there's too much stuff and it's all dampening the sound because it's just flat ice and there's nothing else around it.
Yeah.
It's more, I guess, less that it's dampening sound. It's more that it's too noisy here. Because there's snow everywhere. The sound is dampened. So when the wind is blowing over something and it's reverberating and sound is just vibrations. And because there's no other noise, you can hear that constant sound then.
Yeah.
Because when it's blowing on the ice sheet. That's would kind of be the default explanation for it. Again, I guess the conspiracy theories. I didn't look too deeply into this. I know there is some stuff, but it was difficult to be honest with you. I was trying to search specifically Antarctica conspiracy theories, and I found this kind of stuff about what the sort of things are that are conspiracy theories about them, but not I didn't get much information about how deep the conspiracy theories goes and what people actually think they are.
Yeah.
There didn't seem to be, as far as I could find, actually that much information on it. There is also apparently a giant hole.
Oh, like on what that series we watched?
The Hole? No, that's not what it's called. I know the one you mean. Outer Range.
Outer Range,
Outer Range, yeah.
Like
Maybe.
that'd be trippy.
Again, it didn't really say anything about what the hole was.
Yeah.
It's just a hole. The hole in the outer range kind of was a time travel hole, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was actually quite good, that show. Wasn't
It was a bit weird.
It was very
It
weird.
wasn't bad, but it was a bit weird.
I'd have liked reading that as like a short story, I reckon.
Yeah,
It would
yeah.
have been a good short story, I think.
So, I mean, what could the hole be? What are they putting in there? How did the hole get there? How far does it go?
Does it time travel?
Hollow Earth?
Oh.
Just saying.
Oh.
I don't know. Also, there's something called the third man factor. Okay, well, apparently multiple researchers have expressed this, and apparently this goes back as far as Ernest Shackleton. I think that was his name. I want to say Biggie Shackleton, but that's a Mighty Boosh thing. Where on that expedition, where I guess it's where they first sort of discovered Antarctica, they have this whole thing where they feel an extra presence there.
Yeah.
I guess there was two of them, so it's a third man factor because they felt like it was a third man there. And somehow this is specific to Antarctica. So I'm not sure exactly how it's different to sort of just like when you're on your own and you sort of feel like someone might be there. I guess it's sort of similar, but somehow specific to Antarctica. And
I mean, maybe it's just more likely to happen because of the conditions in Antarctica.
Possibly. But this wasn't just a one-time thing, or it wasn't just an old thing. This continues to happen as people are there. This is like a known thing, as far as I can tell, where researchers will, I guess, talk about how they feel the third man factor. How they feel like someone else. But so, do they feel that because there is someone there?
Maybe.
Or something there? You know? What's going on the Antarctic?
A mystery.
Obviously, people come up with these. It's like we talked about with them not telling us about UFOs. People come up with things because you don't tell them.
Exactly. That's what I said.
So it's difficult to say. I don't know what's going on. I think it would be a weird kind of spooky place to go visit.
Definitely.
Also, as we say, inhospitable, so I don't know how long they stay there. But there are research stations there, and people stay there for decent periods of time, and they're always going there to find, see, what more could you research there? They have to be going for a reason, right?
Yeah.
What more could you learn? There's nothing there, right? So what are they researching out there?
Yeah.
The thing takes place either in the Arctic or Antarctic. I'm not totally sure. But if it's something like that, keep it there. I don't want it.
Okay.
You've not seen it yet. We'll have to watch
I've not seen it yet, no. We'll watch the thing.
So I don't know. That's a little discussion for you, Dale, on the Antarctic.
There you go, Dale.
If that's not what you wanted, please give me more information.
If you've got deeper dives into these theories, we'd like to hear them.
If you know anything more about these particular conspiracies that I've brought up, let me know. Because that's all I could find. I'm sure if I dug for longer and longer, I could find more, but a quick search, there's not much more I could find about conspiracy theories. It's just very surface level stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But we've had a little talk about it.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the podcast for today.
Way.
For this month.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. We have a TikTok. We've had a hit quote.
A hit
TikTok. It has 3,000 views. Oh my God. Can you believe it? We are going viral.
Famous.
Please give me money now. Money me, please. Just kidding.
We're Mr. Beast level now.
Yeah. Exactly. Next thing we'll be
in Egypt.
We'll be in Egypt, or we'll be booking out the whole Antarctic.
Oh yeah, that's what we should do.
That's what we'll do.
I'd rather not, Sam.
No,
in
fair
all
enough.
honesty, I'd rather not.
If we can do it from home,
yeah,
that'd be good.
like remotely.
Yeah. Get some of them Chinese drones over there. We'll have a look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, thanks for listening. Hope you're having a good New Year. I hope some more spooky stuff happens in January that we'll have to talk about. I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
There's always something happening. There's always
Gotta
enough
be.
to talk about.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Even over the holidays, stuff happens.
Stuff does happen.
The spooky stuff does not have a holiday. It just
No.
keeps happening.
No day off for the spooky stuff.
No day off for them. And yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.